he should be concerned about his fertility?
You
Are
see,
there any such?
like you see, these days because of this Google and everything, people have become more and more intelligent, more and more aware. Like today only, I had a young man around 25 years walking into calling me and then walking in that he want to have a semen analysis. I said, what is the problem? Are you married? He said, no, I'm not married. I'm planning to get married, but I want to check what is the status of my semen parameters. I said, okay, fine, we will do the test. He went and did the semen analysis. But what I'm saying is now people have become more aware. They have become more aware. So they have become more aware of what is the semen count, what is semen mortality, sperm mortality. So all these things which were technical things in the past is now no more a technical thing. It is available on the net. The people can have a look at that. What is the current status of the semen of a particular man, and is there any other associated medical problem? You see, this premature ejaculation is a big market, big pharmaceutical market in India, more than 90 crores. There are various drugs being marketed to improve this problem in the man, premature ejaculation, premature this thing. And if a man is having this sort of a problem, he's always more worried that what is going to happen to his fertility in future. So people are now aware. People are now aware that their things can, if the things are normal or things are heavier, they can try and see consultation. That is happening. That is happening now.
Great. Uh, thank you, sir, for answering that question of ours. Now, we would like to know more about. And there are a lot of tests involved. You mentioned about a person coming and asking about a semen analysis. Can you help us understand our audience about what are the basics of tests that are involved and how do you actually diagnose in a bit basic stepwise manner? And after that, we would also like to know the basic treatment options that are available for male infertility.
You see, basically, we have to do semen test. Semen test is the cornerstone of male fertility. And when before we do a semen test, we tell the husband, the man, to have an abstinence of 3 days. That is more than enough. He will come and produce a sample. We check for the total volume of the sperm, volume of the semen, the total sperm count, the motility, the sperm morphology. These are the various parameters which have been defined by WHO, and we analyze this sperm, semen as per these parameters, and then we tell whether sperm count, sperm, this particular sample is normal or it is oligospermic, or motility is less, or the morphology is less. We define according to this parameter. And once we have done a semen parameter and we find the semen count is less than 10 million, we will always like to have a repeat semen analysis. One semen analysis is not enough. You must have two semen analysis to label a particular sample as a poor sample. You cannot have only one semen sample. You must have two semen report with you. Only then you can say this semen is having a particular type of problem. And once the semen count is less than 10 million, or if there are some sexual disturbances in the male, we advise him to do a hormonal as evaluation. Hormonal evaluation is basically serum testosterone, total testosterone, and FHS. If the serum testosterone is less than 300 microgram, then we advise to do a free testosterone, LH, and prolactin. This is how we go about. After all this hormonal evaluation, we can make a specific diagnosis whether it is hypo, whether it is a normal male, or if there is hypergonadotropic male. And according to that, or once we do a semen analysis, when we find no sperms, causing many a time in 5% of the patient male, we find there are no sperm. Then we have to do imaging studies like scrotal ultrasound or a transrectal ultrasound to know what is the status. The scrotal ultrasound will give us information about testes, about varicocele, The transrectal will give us information about prostate, about vas, about epididymis. So all this investigation will help us in making a probable diagnosis what is the problem with the male. And in case many times we still don't find a particular situation to be very clear with all this investigation, then we have to do a testicular biopsy to know what is the problem. That is the final step, and we must do testicular biopsy in a setup where there are facilities for freezing the sperm. Supposing you find some sperm during the testicular biopsy, you should be able to freeze it at the same time, which can be used subsequently. You cannot keep on doing biopsy again and again to take out the sperm. No, you do only biopsy one time, and if you find sperm, you freeze it for future use. That is how we go about. So this is the evaluation plan for a male, generally speaking. Of course, there are other tests which can be sperm function tests, which are not done in all cases, only when it is needed. Generally, you know when you have to do this sperm function test and other specific tests.
Okay. So this was, thank you so much for letting us know the probable diagnostic test that needs to. After that, Dr. Nair, can you help us to know what are the probable treatment options? Like there are a lot of ART methods, and which are specifically, the acronyms that a couple hears to is IVF, IUI, ICSI. So, considering if a male infertility factor is associated for the couple, what are the probable treatment options that you go for?
You see, any male who comes to us when we are treating a male, first thing is to improve his lifestyle. Improve his lifestyle. The male should be encouraged to have a good nutritious diet, with proteins, and should be able to have a regular exercise module, and to avoid stop smoking, alcohol, no underwear, no very tight underwear. Basically, he is encouraged to have a good, healthy lifestyle. That is number one, which will encourage a sperm production to happen. Then there are options of a medical treatment or a surgical treatment or an ART procedure, like what you mentioned. Medical treatment we can have in cases of hypogonadotropic hypogonadism, when the hormonal level produced by brain are low. In those cases, we give SCG and FHS injection from outside. This procedure, this treatment continues for 6 to 9 months, and we may find that the sperm production can happen in such a patient in course of time. The other is in cases of obese patient, when the males are obese, the testosterone estrogen ratio is decreased less than 10. In such cases, we have to give them letrozole to stimulate the sperm production. In cases of idiopathic male infertility, there are a lot of empiric treatment available in the market, but most of them generally are ineffective. So we have to
Okay.
talk with the such patient that you are idiopathic male infertility. You may take this empirical treatment. We may give him lot of antioxidant which are available in the market. Antioxidant is a huge market in India, and one tablet, one treatment per day is almost 60 to 100 rupees per day. So a male has to spend a lot of money for this so-called empiric treatment. Whether it will help her or not, we don't know. Although a Cochrane study published in 2014 indicated that when you take this antioxidant, it is supposed to have a improved live birth rate and pregnancy rate in some patients. So that is what we are also prescribing in our clinic to a lot of every female who having idiopathic male infertility take antioxidant. That is number one. If after all this thing we find the sperm count, according to the sperm count, we advise the ART treatment. If the sperm count is 15 million or anything more than 15 million or more, We will advise them to have a natural contact and program natural contact. We follow the wife, follow the follicle. Once the follicle is ready, we tell them to have contact on particular days. And if this thing doesn't work out, we will advise them to have IUI. But for IUI, the patient must have 5 million motile sperm in his semen. Only then the IUI is advised. Although when patient with a lower sperm count are also there, who cannot afford the next step IVF or ICSI, then we tell the patient, we explain to the patient, okay, if you cannot afford, let us continue with IUI. IUI is a very simple procedure. The husband will give us a semen sample. We will wash it as per the protocol and remove the debris, remove the dead sperm, and we inject this sperm directly into the uterus. This is IUI. Next is IVF. Or IVF, we will stimulate the wife, produce the eggs, take out the eggs, keep it in a dish, and take husband's sperm and wash it, put a drop of sperm with the egg. One drop of sperm has almost 50,000 sperms. Out of 50,000 sperm, one sperm will enter the egg and fertilize it. This is IVF. When the sperm count is very poor, less than 2 million, we do ICSI. In ICSI, what we do, we wash the sperm, catch hold of a single sperm, motile sperm under microscope, and inject it into the egg directly. This is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. This is available to us. We have many methods available to us these days, how to separate the sperm, how to wash the sperm. We have many methods available to have sperm with less DNA fragmentation, and all these facilities are available with us. We are using it in our center also. This new technique for microfluidic is there, which give us sperm with the very low sperm DNA fragmentation. So we are using it. So even if a husband, if a male has different type of issues with his semen parameters, we can solve it. It is no more dead end. We can solve.